So here we are in our expert talk together with Julia. Julia, she's a chartered tax accountant in Germany. That's very important because if you want to do a tax return in Germany, you need Julia. Thank you, you're here.
Yeah, thank you.
You're focusing on international clients buying real estate in Berlin or moving from Germany to other countries,
Yes.
especially expat. You've been working for EY and in the German Bundestag, for FDP, the minor party that just got kicked out of the Bundestag. Okay.
Thanks for reminding us.
Thanks for reminding us. Not very.
Yeah, it doesn't hurt at all.
That doesn't hurt at all. Okay, but you are very well educated in tax law.
Yeah.
You have been publishing tax laws. You've been part of a political party that has been in power in Germany, and you are also working for. You used to work for an international company called EY. I think everyone knows that company. So please tell me, if international people are buying real estate in Germany, what they should be aware of, tax-wise, what they should be aware of. I think we're having the purchase tax, and we're having the so-called land tax every quarter, every year. And we're also having the sales tax. If you sell the apartment, there's a profit. Maybe let's cover these three taxes.
Yeah, as you already mentioned, we have that real estate transfer taxation. That's if you purchase real estate in Berlin, it's about 6% of the purchase price. Then, of course, you have the income tax on any rent that you gain from that. But you also have a lot of deductions that you can make from that rent, which are also very important. It's like just depreciations from the building, but it's also the cost, the financing cost that you can deduct, and like any reparation costs or any investments that you take for
so just to jump quickly into that topic, a lot of our clients are calling me, Achim, I've seen in Germany I have to pay 45% income tax. Oh. So how does that work?
How it works to pay 45%?
Yes,
you may tell us. you need to earn a lot of money, basically.
I have a good tax consultant.
Better you ask me to not pay the 45%.
That's a good answer.
Yeah. I mean, it's we have in Germany, we have that linear progressive tax tariff, which means the more you earn, the more you pay taxes proportionate to your earnings. And the highest portion of taxes you can pay is about 45%. This rate applies to any income above around about 260,000, and it's also important to say it's not that you pay 45% on all of the income, but on every euro that exceeds this 260 or 270 that it's at the moment. Below you pay a rate, let's say between 14% and 45%, but on average it's about 30% that you pay.
Yeah, so just for you guys, if you buy a piece of real estate or in Germany, it doesn't have to be in Berlin, you also can buy in Brandenburg. And I'm joking, it doesn't matter. The tax is always the same in Germany when it comes to income tax.
Yes.
And it also means that buying 1 or 2 or 3 apartments, you will not hit the 45% income tax when it comes to the rental income. I'm not sure what kind of apartments you guys are buying, or maybe multi-family houses for billions and billions. Then you should speak to Julia as well, because you can set up German structures, companies.
Yes.
Which is a different topic as well. But so first of all, if you buy real estate, please speak to us and we will help you to speak to Julia, international tax consultant, to make sure that whatever you make on a decision, please speak to us prior to making that decision, because taxes in Germany are very important.
Yeah, taxes can be very high risk in Germany, and also the tax officers can be quite strict about the fulfillment of your anything that you need to do for tax purposes.
Now let's quickly cover the very low land taxes in Germany. I mean, I lived many years in the UK, in France, in Canada, and other countries. So there we have a completely different tax system. So the transfer tax when you buy in Germany, please correct me, are pretty high, are 6%. Up to 6.5% of the purchase price. But once you own the real estate, the property, the apartment, the house, the land taxes are very low compared to international standards. So just give you an example, I pay for my house, I think it's about 300 euros a year on land tax, which I know a couple of you guys in the UK, they're gonna, have a couple of tiers. I think you pay 300 a month or something.
But that also changed starting 2025. So my question would be: is it still? Would you still say
more.
it's okay?
Yeah, not that much.
Yeah, maybe then you're lucky, because there's a lot of people who say, okay, my land tax has doubled or multiplied even. That can also happen. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's still, if you compare international real estate markets compared to other countries, the German land tax is pretty low, and especially when you look on the stamp duty, which is internationally pretty high.
Yeah.
In other countries, the stamp duty is much less, or the transfer tax.
Yeah, that maybe.
Yeah, and what is also important is when you sell real estate in Germany, you should speak to Julia, because there are a lot of things you should be aware of. Income tax is one of them. Maybe you want to explain a little bit what international clients, especially sellers, should check prior to selling.
So in Germany we have a special rule that says if you own the real estate for at least 10 years, it's tax free to sell the real estate. You need to look at whether
let's say you sell the apartment. Let's say you buy an apartment for 100,000 and sell it 10 years later for 200. So there's a profit of 100,000.
Yeah.
Just make it very simple.
Yes.
So you have to pay income tax on the 100,000. In Germany, if you sell it before the 10 years, and after the 10 years, there's no income tax in Germany. Is this correct?
Yeah, it's correct. It's correct. So you need to be aware that there's a huge benefit in holding the real estate at least 10 years, because then it's tax-free. Or if you use the real estate for your own living purposes, it's always tax-free, or at least in the 3 years before selling it, it's tax-free. But if you have this real estate only for investment purposes, for renting it out, then you need to be aware of that you should wait for 10 years.
So let's say we have customers who contact us prior to the 10 years. So they Achim, I live in South Africa, I need the money because of the geopolitical changes. I want to sell now, and I don't want to wait another 3, 4, 5 years. So there will be profit. They have to pay income tax.
Yeah.
So what should they do? How can they minimize a profit? What do you suggest?
So if it's really an urgent matter, there is, in most of the cases, it's not much to do. So it's good to know beforehand, before you make the investment, if you can really hold the investment for at least 10 years in order to realize the gains tax-free, or whether you might need to sell it beforehand, because in that case, maybe it's better to just acquire the real estate not in your private sphere, but maybe through another vehicle. And then it's at least more tax efficient, Maybe we can set up a holding structure where you acquire the real estate in one company, and the holding company just sells the shares or the assets, and if the holding company maybe can sell the shares,
but if it's just
then it's tax-free.
Just to interrupt you, if it's just one apartment for, let's say, 200,000-300,000 euros, or call it 500,000 euros, is it really worth it setting up the whole structure?
It depends on the value, and it depends on the value and the increase in value.
Okay.
That can also be good, and it depends on the rent and the earnings that incur on a yearly basis.
Okay.
But the point that I wanted to make is that it's really important to think beforehand whether you're able to hold the real estate for 10 years, or whether you just acquire it and maybe might want or need to sell it within, let's say, 4, 5, 6 years.
Okay.
That's important to know beforehand, because in that case you can think of other structures, of other ways how you can do it tax efficient. I mean, what I just said about the holding structure, it was just one example that is maybe also very prominent example that could be a solution, but it could also be another solution. And it's also important that it's, as you said, that it's also efficient and in the right balance.
I think there are three things you guys need to know. First of all, when you buy real estate in Germany, don't only speak to your real estate agent or broker, also try to speak to a tax consultant prior of making the decision.
Yes.
Because taxes in Germany are one of the major drivers of making a profit or making a loss. The German system is very efficient. The second point you need to be aware of, the rental income has to be taxed in Germany because the property is based in Germany.
Yes.
And the third one, if you want to sell, try to set up the structure before buying, especially when you buy more than one apartment. When you buy a couple of apartments, it might make sense to set up a structure which might be very tax efficient.
Yes, and also care about avoiding double taxation.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's also an important thing to know. That needs to not also with a German tax advisor, but also with a local tax advisor in the country where you live, needs to be advised. Cool. So, if you have any questions, please contact us under blacklabelimobilien.de or contact directly the tax advisor Julia Bossmann. How can they reach you? They can just reach me via my website. It's www.stb-bossmann with a double S and double N .de. Or maybe if you don't mind, they can just contact you and you would also forward my contact details to them and I would reach out. Yeah, a big topic for you guys is Julia, she's a chartered tax accountant. So it's not that often that you can talk to her because usually they're very expensive, very expensive. I think you charge 1,000 euros an hour or something, no? Yes. Yes, minimum? No, I'm joking. But you also can use a normal accountant, which are not chartered. You know, that's a big difference. But Julia, she can speak to the tax offices. She can do the tax returns. She's allowed to do the tax returns. And she has certain rights in Germany, which might be very important for you as an international investor. Thank you, Julia, for having you. Thank you, Achim.